Hey guys, welcome to episode 79 of the RoundTable. I'm Jenny Walker, the social media ministry leader here at Life Church. And this is Mike Hill. He is our lead pastor. He's our
we
lead.
Didn't do it. We couldn't make it through
lead
one.
pastor.
Yeah.
Oh, I said
or
and then
teaching
I said
pastor,
lead.
somebody that gets up front.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a pastor that stands on stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
And can walk off stage now.
Yes.
See, they wouldn't let me off stage. And then I just went out of.
Yeah, I don't think you're still allowed to walk off
No,
stage.
Nick said I could.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, like a mic drop.
Floodgates open.
Oh, it's completely open?
Because when we were upstairs, I always walked around. And it's kind of a problem because I was walking in the dark and you could never see me. And, I used to walk to the back row at times, So when we were up there, it was like, stay on the stage. We're recording things. Make it somewhat look professional instead of like you do, which makes it look janky. That tends to be my thing. And so this week when I went off stage, I was like, I'm going to be in so much trouble. But Nick said it was okay. So now the floodgates are open.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now
I noticed that.
Yeah. Because the other thing is people worry that I'm going to fall off the front of the stage. Like that's been a thing.
What?
Like I stand too close to the edge of the stage.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah,
Dude, watch his toes are over.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. Like
Really?
you are seriously the day you fall off that stage.
Oh my gosh, I wish you would.
Laughing.
That would raise our TikTok so much. Oh my gosh.
That would do what?
We would have so many followers on TikTok.
If I fell off the stage.
Oh, that would be a viral video for sure.
Well, we should just do it for fun then.
Okay. You want to?
Yeah.
You can be your own stunt guy. Yeah. We can just put like a little thing on the. No, you won't even. You can do it.
It's not that far of a fall.
No, not that far.
Yeah. The funny thing is, we'll do it as a stunt. And I'll tear my ACL.
Exactly.
It's something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So introduce our special guest.
I know our special guest. She gets a lot of specials because this is Courtnie Smith.
Yeah, I'm gonna not mess that up.
Why? What do you want to call her?
Well, I called her Courtney Law today.
Oh, did you?
I'm sorry.
Wow. No, that's okay.
So I was like, they were like, who's on the podcast? I'm like, Courtney Law. Whoa. It's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen, but yeah, Courtney Smith.
Well, she was changed. Like you changed in the time that you were here, right?
Changed.
Yeah.
You have changed.
But she's special because she is an original.
Yes.
She came to the first Sunday
Yep.
at Life Church
18
18 years ago.
Oh, it was
on
the
Halloween.
first Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
The first Sunday.
Were you at the cafe then?
No, the cafe wasn't a thing then, Jenny.
Oh, my bad.
No. So in the beginning, it was just the church, no cap. There was a school, out front and a factory in the back.
The school that you went to.
Yeah, Indiana Tech was in here.
Yes.
Yeah, at the time, Indiana Tech was here, and then in the back was the factory, and there was just kind of this weird vibe of factory people coming in. Nothing wrong with factory people, but they're dirty.
Right.
They're in their greasy hands, and then you got these professional people walking through, and they're trying to commingle, and that just didn't go that well. And then Indiana Tech moved on. And anyway, Courtney, tell us what's going on in your life right now. What's happening? What are you doing? What are you excited about? What are you watching?
Yeah, I know you're watching something good.
What has been exciting lately in the life of Courtney?
Okay. I mean, like right now,
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of a quinoa project.
A quinoa project? What's
Is that something you
I
eat?
thought you would like that.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quinoa.
Yeah. So I'm just finding different recipes on Pinterest and trying them. I went through a ranch project, trying to find the best homemade ranch project recipe. And so I take them into work with me. I'm like, hey, you guys, try this one. And
So you made ranch dressing
a couple times.
and you're trying to figure
Wow.
out what was the best mixture.
Yeah, but then I got over that. Now I'm on a quinoa project.
And
So last night we had the first one. It was pretty good.
Quinoa is
Let me tell you about it. It's a superfood.
okay.
Yeah.
Super.
So
Yeah.
did you bring some first to try?
I didn't. I'm sorry. That would have been a really nice touch.
Dare her. Oh, my.
So I mean, is it like a cucumber or is it lettuce?
It's a plant-based. Let me tell you what's special about it.
Okay.
It's plant-based protein. And it comes from the root of a goosefoot plant.
What?
I know, right? I was like,
Where is this grown?
I have no
I
idea.
Like in
know.
Andrews?
No idea. I doubt it.
It's in
Does
Wabash.
Andrews
grow
have
there.
a goose foot pop
Oh my
thing over
gosh.
there? They just, nothing against Andrews, but when I thought goose feet,
You just thought of Andrews?
Yeah, I just thought that
Seems
would
like
go
it went
together.
together.
Yeah, it seems like those go together.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
So you buy it at any grocery
Well,
store?
I just bought a huge bag of it so I can try different recipes.
Okay.
So it was at
yesterday-
Owens or Kroger?
Costco.
Costco.
No,
See?
about the Costco.
That makes
Yeah.
more sense. That it was
Why?
I just wouldn't
then
see.
it was an enormous bag.
Well, yeah.
Just like Santa Claus bag walking out with quinoa.
With my goose feet.
Right?
Goose feet plant.
So what has been the best one?
Well, this is the first one. So far it's the best one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was, like, what do you do with it?
It was called One Pan Mexican Quinoa. So it had some like Mexican type seasonings in it, corn and beans and.
So like you against meat?
No, not at all.
I mean, is that the thing?
No, not at all. I just was curious about quinoa. I was like, I'm going to learn how to cook this stuff.
So please tell me you don't go buy the Impossible Burger.
No, I've never had an Impossible Burger.
Yeah, Courtney would
Or
not do
Impossible
that.
anything.
Plant-based hamburger.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Or
like that just can't be.
Plant-based sausage. No.
Yeah, no, good. So you're
Comes
not on
from a
that. You're
pig.
not on that. It's not meat. It's
No.
made in a lab. But you're okay with the goose foot.
Yeah, I was just like
Yeah,
curious.
because it's not one. It's natural.
Yeah, so before I embarked on the project, I was like, first I need to learn about quinoa. And then that's how I learned that it's considered a complete protein, even though it's plant-based.
Yeah, and it's a superfood that makes you feel better.
That's what they say.
What about your kids?
Charlie didn't try it. Charlie's a really picky eater.
So you gave her chicken nuggets while you're eating
I made her a
superfood.
cheese sandwich, though.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, so is she one of the kids that's like chicken nuggets or nothing?
Yeah, there's like 4 things that she'll
Okay.
eat.
What are they?
Chicken
dogs?
nuggets. No, she won't eat hot dogs.
Okay.
Cheese toasty, peanut butter and jelly, fish sticks.
Oh my gosh, that's so random.
So you
Usually
and-
no
so-
fish sticks.
But Josh probably loves it because he's like into the whole like make me a Superman. Right? I mean, if you know Josh, like he's Superman. Like he wants to be Superman.
He ate it. He tried it. And he helped me cook. And let me tell you.
He did?
Yeah, I like cooking with him.
Really?
Yeah, I just realized that today. I was at work and I was like, you guys, I think I like cooking with my husband.
Wow.
I know,
That's
right?
amazing.
And he's more apt to try things if it's like a new recipe. I did like a Hello Chef or one of those things for a while, and he tried new things. But no, he's like the palate of a 5-year-old. He'll eat like macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, so him and
Literally.
Charlie would eat the same things.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Josh is picky?
Yes.
I didn't figure because the guy was, I mean, this
He'll
isn't
eat
about Josh, but he was a
cheeseburgers.
bodybuilder.
And
at
everywhere
one
we
point
go,
in
he'll eat
his life.
cheeseburgers. Yes. Yes,
Right.
he
So
was.
I'm thinking like he's all about the super
You would think
stuff.
that. Nope.
But no.
But he tried this and he liked it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would make it again. It was a win.
Yeah.
Austin ate it.
So is this like your new love language thing? You and
I
Josh
know.
cooking together? And
I
you're
don't
both
know. I was
you know-
like, this is great. I like this. Part of it was because he was in the kitchen trying to do dishes when I was trying to cook. And I was like, this is not going to work. Get out of the way. No
So
way.
he's like, let me cook with you.
So I was like, why don't you just help me? I like it when we cook together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
These are
Sarah never
projects
says that.
that you're going on. You said
I mean,
that.
I've called them projects because, yeah, it has there's no real starting into it. Just like when I'm done, I'll go on to the next thing.
So just like hobbies. Was the ranch your first one that you started?
Yeah, the ranch project was first.
Okay, so now it's up.
I love it. It sounds real professional.
I know.
It does. It's not over with, though. I mean, I found one that's like okay, but one was really terrible. I didn't measure stuff either. Joshua tried it. He
my
was like
gosh.
this. No.
That's terrible.
That bad?
That's funny.
Maybe I should measure the dough next time.
Do you
Yeah.
like to cook?
Not really.
Oh,
Yeah, but she's really good at making
this
pumpkin
is-
cookies.
That's why this is a project for me.
okay. Because cooking's not your thing.
Not really. I don't enjoy it, and I don't think I'm that good at it.
So does Josh cook?
No, I cook.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've kept us alive. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you like make it from scratch kind of cooker? Or are you like whatever's frozen and ready, throw in?
No, Joshua and I are opposites in that. When he does the grocery shopping, we have like pizza rolls and frozen burritos and frozen pizzas and like every type of Cheeto.
Sounds
and then
great. That sounds so great.
Yeah.
we have a wide variety of snack foods, but nothing that you can really cook. And then I'm the opposite. I'll go and buy like the meat and the potatoes and the vegetables and let half of them rot.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. All right. So
I feel like that's a
for our
thing.
audience, so they can get to know you. So tell us a little bit about you, right? So we'll go
Okay.
back and talk about how you grew up, but tell us a little bit about you. You know.
Well, I'm not done talking about right now.
Oh,
This
okay.
is a 5-part
Yeah.
series,
All right, keep
right?
going then.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
right now I'm in the quinoa project.
Okay.
That's my current like obsession.
Okay.
But you asked some other important questions that I want to talk about. Like,
Okay.
so I'm working at Josiah White's in Wabash. I want to talk about that
Okay.
Yeah.
briefly
Okay.
because I have to give a shout out to my friend Charlie Humbert.
Who said he
There you
wasn't
go,
going to watch,
Charlie.
but now he is.
There's your shout out.
Yes.
He's definitely gonna watch.
Yeah.
He
Keep
is.
watching. Share it with everybody. Courtney's the best.
Yes.
So there's that. I really enjoy working there.
Which is a what? What is it?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's talk about what is Josiah White's Residential and Family Services. So we have kids that live on campus they're part of different types of programs. And then we also license foster homes and manage the kids that are in those, which
Okay.
that's a piece of it that I didn't know about until I started working there.
Mhm.
Okay.
I didn't know about that either.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So it's outside of DCS?
Yes. So the kids that are placed into foster care through our family services program,
Okay.
they are placed there by DCS. And then on the campus in Wabash, there's a girls program called Compass Rose Academy that's like private pay, that's outside of DCS. And then we
Okay.
have the state funded programs for our residential program.
Okay.
So
So again, is the idea to get them into homes? Not get them into homes?
they
or
don't
stay on the
necessarily
campus?
they don't necessarily blend together like that. They're
Okay.
completely separate programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they do both. So again, they have this program where kids come that are foster kids?
Nope.
No.
Foster kids don't live on campus.
Okay. So the people that live on campus are
they're like the state funded programs.
Okay.
So kids that have been adjudicated there through the court system, through the
Okay.
juvenile justice system.
oh, got it. So
Yep.
then they come and they live on there, and then there's another side of it, which is
Yeah, Compass Rose, where that's just girls, and they aren't placed there by an agency. Their families are deciding that this is the best fit for them because it's Christian plus clinical.
okay.
And then we have a recovery services program. It's the
Wow.
only ASAM 3.5 certified program in the state for recovery for people under the age of 18.
What the world did you just
I
say?
don't know what that means, so don't ask me any questions on it. I memorized that.
That was amazing.
ASAM,
So
ASAM,
fast.
ASAM?
Yeah.
Yeah,
ASAM.
ASAM 3.5. That's like a certification for recovery programs, I think.
For
Yeah.
underage or something.
When you
maybe?
were saying
Don't
it,
ask
I
me
was like, I
details.
thought it was like a transformer thing. You know, like ASAM 3.5.
Oh, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
anyways, recovery for young people, which I don't think there are many, if any, programs
No,
that serve that population for recovery.
just one that I know
Young
of.
people.
Yep, under
Like-
the age of 18 that are struggling with substance use disorder.
Really? So everything else is for people
For
after
people
18?
over the age of 18, yep.
I know another one, and that's Indy. That's Fairbanks.
Okay.
So they're hospital based
But this is
residential
the only
program.
one around here that
Right.
to be able to do that.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
not common.
Yeah, so that's what they do. But I enjoy working in a ministry as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and again, the it's overall a ministry. Like,
yes, I mean, it's a nonprofit. The entire organization is.
and it's called what again?
They used to be known as Whites
Okay.
or Whites Institute.
Yeah.
But we rebranded as Josiah Whites Residential and Family Services.
Is there again? Can I just ask why? Like Josiah, is that a person?
Josiah White's the founder.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. And is it because there was a stigma around whites? Is that why you
could say
rebranded?
that.
Yeah, I would think that
you
there
could
would
say
be.
that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like at conferences and stuff when your name is Whites, you know,
Oh, that
not
kind.
everybody wants to approach you for employment or for other things.
Really?
hmm
Okay. So rebranding help? Because was it a ministry before when it was called Whites,
hmm
but it just got a bad rap or?
Yeah,
like-
I mean, I think that it just helps paint the picture of who we're trying to be as far as inclusive and new possibilities and, you know, future based and growth and that type of thing. And
Yeah.
not let people get hung up on the word white.
When
Oh.
that's his last name.
Right.
Got
It's
it.
just a last name.
Right.
Exactly.
Got it. Got it. And so how do you fit into it?
I'm just administration. I'm a
Right.
training manager.
Right.
So I don't work directly with kids, but I love still being a part of the impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes it all,
Yeah,
right, to
yeah.
be able to get it done, whether you're one-on-one or whether you're the person making it possible
Yeah.
for one-on-one to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
And I think what's so special is that you are now using your degree.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you know she got a master's degree?
Why you did not?
No, but it didn't surprise me.
What do you
mean-
mean?
Meaning that I just think that Courtney's a ongoing learner.
Yes, she
is. That
is.
the right
Yes.
word?
Lifelong
It's like-
learning. That is my jam.
Yep.
Yeah,
She's
like
doing it with
she-
the quinoa.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
mean. She's just
Exactly.
a lifelong
Give me all the
learner.
inputs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm going to research right now. Quinoa.
I didn't even know how to spell that.
Huh?
Quinoa.
It is weird.
Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah,
sound
nobody-
great.
It's end with an A.
Okay, so does that cover the?
The right now stuff.
Are you watching any Netflix stuff?
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
you're-
That's the other thing you asked about. So, I've listened to a podcast, some true crime ones.
You're one of those people.
Yeah, she is.
Listen to how people are getting murdered and like.
Listen, they're all a little different and a little special.
They are. They are.
No, I know. It's like
Yeah,
if
and
you want to
some-
know how to murder somebody, listen to a true crime.
Sure.
If you have to do a long drive, that's a good way to make the time go by.
It is.
Because they're not just like petty crimes. These are like people killing people.
Yes.
Yeah, like well known.
Right. That's what I mean. So like the idea is it's a full podcast
Yes.
of how people murder people.
But you know what's amazing? I was thinking the other day while I was listening to one, I'm like, because the one that I was listening to, they were on episode like 200 and something. And I'm like, think about how many murder podcasts, different ones there are, and then think about how many episodes they have. How many people are murderers?
Got murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know why? It
mind-blowing.
keeps spreading because everybody's listening to the podcast to try to figure out how to kill their wife.
No, a lot
What
of
do you
these.
put in their drink at night?
Hey, I heard that there's a true crime podcast that's done in Wabash.
Really?
Yeah, that it's kind of well known, but I haven't researched it. I don't know much about it, but
Wow.
True
You
crime.
think you need to get on there?
I know that's really cool.
Right, so you're in true crime podcast. What else?
What have I been watching on Netflix?
You can
Is that a
just-
thing? Do you watch TV?
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes. I go through phases. Sometimes I don't watch anything for like periods of time and then I get really into something. So I just finished catching up on Manifest.
Oh, I've heard of that. Is that
The
good?
airplane that disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
it
really
is good.
Yeah, season 3 kind of drags, but
Okay.
it
I feel
redeems
like
itself.
The first episode drags.
Manifest.
Because weren't they were confused of where they were. Like, right? Like they were,
when they first came back, like back in the
Weren't-
beginning.
yeah, like in the very
Yes,
beginning,
yes.
they were with the
Wouldn't
families
you
and
be
then they lost
confused?
the
Yeah,
family.
they disappeared for 5 years and then they just come back.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be confused.
Well, I mean,
I mean, you're like, I'm so
I mean,
surprised people are
I was
confused and have been gone
confused.
for 5 years.
okay, but it was confusing because the people, they were going back in real time and back in 5 years ago, right? I only made it like 20 minutes.
Then you're out.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You
I
gotta
should
go
keep
back.
going.
You gotta go back.
Yes. That's
Okay.
a good one.
Something you could binge watch.
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Manifest.
Yeah. In between, then I always go back to Discovery Plus so I can watch true crime on there.
Yes, ID.
Yeah. I've been watching Pandora's Box on there because they go like, it starts with like one little crime and it,
Opens Pandora's
yes.
box.
Then they're like, that's how they found that he was doing this, and this. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's good.
Kind
that's
of like
pretty
the whole
good one.
Jeffrey Dahmer thing, like the way they caught him
Also
because
good
his
series.
place stunk.
Yes.
Right?
That is a good
Like it was
series.
going through the vents of all the rotten.
Did you watch the Dahmer series?
So Isaac's all into that crap, like all kinds of stuff.
I'm
and
there with you,
Loves it. Him and Bree listen to him, and he'll give me these recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
And so I turned that sucker on. I'm like, dude, I didn't make it 5 minutes while he was eating somebody right in the
Yeah.
beginning, and his neighbor was like, "What's going on over there?" While he's sawing people up, and he goes walking out drinking a beer, and
That
I'm like,
wasn't even into the show. That was like the preview.
"Oh,
It was
well,
like the intro.
That's
Yeah.
why I made it."
That's the very
past the
beginning.
intro?
And I'm
Wow.
like, too. I don't know. I couldn't do it.
It was
Okay.
it is very
I was
disturbing.
like, this is creepy.
It is
and
creepy.
disturbing.
Yeah.
But Isaac likes that, like the true crime and the
Listen,
watching
they're
the-
not all the same. Like Anatomy of a Murder is
Uh-huh.
that Anna Nicolazzi. So she has like a justice background.
Nick.
How do you know it?
Nick.
She's
love that
so
one.
good.
I know, I
Is
do.
what like the psychology of it?
Yes, Anatomy
Yeah,
of a
that-
Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she is a former prosecutor.
Right,
So she
yes.
can like speak all the words and like knows all the details.
And the other guy was a cop.
Yeah, so they're really good. Now,
Yeah.
on the other side of the spectrum is Morbid, which
Yes.
is just
I
the
don't
two
like
girls.
that one.
Yeah, they get off on tangents a little bit, and
Yes.
sometimes I get annoyed by it. But
Because it's morbid.
No.
absolutely not.
They're laughing.
because they
and
get
then
off
they're
on these
morbid.
tangents, and then they got to bring it back in. But
That's
sometimes that's the beauty of it. I'm like, haha, that's funny.
That's like this podcast, so I'm getting annoyed listening to it.
a bit.
You get annoyed listening to
No,
our podcast.
I mean, like I
By
get
them
annoyed
doing
listening
it?
to
That's
that
so
one, and
funny.
we do it, and I'm annoyed by what they're doing.
What's the show on? It was on TV, but it was about like murders, and they had
Oh, I know.
what?
Is it CSI?
No,
Is it what is
it was a ways back.
Oh,
mean,
I
it
know.
played for,
Criminal
like,
Minds.
Criminal Minds.
I
That's a
knew
good
it.
one.
I got
And
it.
seriously, we started watching that, and I'm like, I'm gonna have nightmares.
That's a bad one.
Nightmares.
It doesn't give me nightmares. I
What?
fall asleep
I
to
do
it
too.
You don't
I
think that
sleep
like
a
this
baby.
could happen to me? Like this could happen.
No.
When that guy's wife got killed,
I know that's the worst one.
dude, I'm like,
That episode
I
is
ain't
the
watching
worst.
nothing else.
I know exactly
I'm trying to
what
think
you're
which one
talking
it
about.
was. I watched that whole entire series.
When
one time.
Hotch's wife gets killed,
Yeah,
right?
no, I know. It
That's
was
the worst.
awful.
It
It was,
is.
and I was like, what are we
Yes, and the
doing?
little boy
Why are
was
we
hiding.
watching
That's
this?
right. When she was tied up, wasn't she
Yes.
tied up and he was going back for revenge? The guy that he put on like in prison and then he got out.
Either
I
way,
remember.
like this is real stuff.
Yes.
No, I know. I'm like freaked out. I'm like, I'm glad I live in the country.
Yeah, we live in Huntington,
No,
Indiana.
It freaks Austin out. He's home by himself a lot of days now, and he's like, "Listen, I heard a sound earlier." He goes, "I had to do a sweep of the house."
To do a sweep. See? That's what
that
happens
sounds
when you
like
watch
him.
these shows. I got to hurry up and do a sweep of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we ended up watching it all, and then I watched it all the way till the last one, and I'm like, I ain't watching the last one.
I know they're like revamping it and coming out with like a.
They are.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Like
The
it's
main
characters that
characters.
matter.
Yes.
truly.
Yeah, either way. Okay.
Now I think that's all the stuff I'm like into and doing right now.
Okay, good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about you, not only you now, but again, so we said from the beginning, you've been at Life Church for 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah, as of
Wow.
last
I know.
Halloween.
Gosh,
So,
that sounds
crazy.
long.
no, I know.
That sounds really long.
And again, you didn't even really go away.
No.
Right.
I mean, you've stayed from the
never
beginning.
went
Like
away.
there have been people that came in the beginning and got mad and left.
Oh, and left and came
and
back?
they're back.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, they'll probably get mad again. But I mean, that's usually the case. I mean, nothing really, I don't think that much changes at Life Church, meaning that like good things are happening and we might change the way we do things, but how we present and what we say
The
tends to
things
be
we believe stay the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
they've stayed
Yep.
the same from the beginning. So I
Yep.
think the people that were mad then and left over the things that we believe, at some point I'll make them
They
mad
got mad
again.
at the church they went to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now they're back, and then it'll just take them a while, and they'll be mad again. That just kind of goes in a circle. So you've been here for 18 years. So tell us a little bit about, one, how'd you end up here?
Yeah.
And maybe what led to, like, did you grow, I'm honestly, I don't even know this. Did you grow up in a Christian home? Like, did you grow up going to church? Was, like, church important?
I did go to church. It's a bit of a complicated story. So, like, I went to church on the weekends when I would be at my dad's house.
Well, that's the only time there is church. I'm just kidding.
I see
I'm
what you're
kidding.
saying.
I'm kidding.
She
I
could have
know-
went on Wednesdays.
I'm kidding.
Right? And
I
She
I
know
was
what-
meeting
wanted to.
Wednesdays
I
or
wanted to go on
Fridays.
Wednesdays.
I'm sorry. I'm
No.
sorry.
I know, you had to put it out there.
Resist.
Well, yeah, okay. So I guess my point in that is that it was kind of a separate life than my Monday through Friday life.
Okay.
Like I lived at home and then with my mom, and then I would go to my dad's house on the weekends, and that's when I got to go to church.
Oh, your dad went to church?
Took me to church.
Okay.
Dropped me off.
And so was
He probably stayed sometimes. I just don't, but
Yeah.
my aunt and uncle and my cousins went to that church. So that's who I really felt like I was there with. Was
Oh,
them.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like your dad, did he just want you to go? And
I don't know. I've gone to that church since I was too little to remember. I just
Okay.
always loved church. I loved going. And so,
And you're always from Huntington?
no, this was in Wells County. I'm from Wells County.
That's right.
Yeah. So I went to the Liberty Center Baptist Church.
Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
Liberty
Yeah.
Center.
In Liberty Center.
And so then again, did you was faith really important growing up to you? And I mean, because it was two different lives and
it does.
it sounded like, and I don't mean this bad, but you didn't have a lot of family support at home that was saying like,
Yeah, it wasn't something that was part of my
Yeah.
like day-to-day life at home. It wasn't. It became like that was the weekend thing. Although I loved it, it just didn't really have a place like Monday through Friday.
right.
So,
So then when you went to middle school, high school, was it a big part of your journey?
Nope, it wasn't. And I mean, there was a specific point where I would say in high school that I just started to run away from God and make fun of the people that, you know, were about Jesus.
Was there something that was like, this happened, so I'm out? Or was it
No.
just kind of a gradual, like, I don't really care
it was a
anymore?
gradual thing. And
Okay.
like if I spent more time with friends on the weekends and less time in Wells County visiting family where I was going to church, then I wasn't going to church on the weekends either. And so I just kind of grew away from it like that.
Right.
Then when I started having kids, I was like, somebody did that for me. Somebody felt like it was important enough for me that they took me to church. They went out of their way, whether they dropped me off or made sure I stayed somewhere where I could go because I wanted to go. Like somebody did that for me.
Right.
And it's my job to do that for my kids.
Right.
So I decided I was going to start going to church. So at first we started going back to the Baptist church in Liberty Center. It's when I was married to Matt. So,
Yeah, so at this point, was Matt excited about church? Was Matt just doing whatever you said?
yes, he was just doing what he needed to
And
do.
the reason I say that is because, a lot of guys aren't the ones who are like, hey, we should probably get back in church. Like, it's usually mom saying, holy crap,
Yeah.
we better be back in church. So when you
Yes.
got together with Matt, was he
He was raised in a Christian home, and that was one of the things that I liked about him, because I always felt like, even though that isn't where we were at right then, individually or as a couple, that, you know, he would go back to that.
Yeah,
and that's where I wanted to go.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I wasn't ready to go there, but I just figured that at some point that would be the natural, because that's how he was raised.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So then anyway, you end up back in church because you got kids. How young are the kids? And how many do you have now at that point?
At that point, we just had 2. We had Gabe and Allie.
Okay.
And so we just started dropping in and visiting churches. Like, the trip from Roanoke to Liberty Center was like, I don't know if this is going to be sustainable. So we tried just dropping into churches in Roanoke, and it was fine. But also, we got this postcard from Life Church, like, brand new church. It's our first service. It's on Halloween. You should come. And I was like,
really?
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It was on Halloween.
You got a postcard out in
billboards out at the time.
You
Haven't
did?
you seen the old postcards?
No.
They're around here somewhere.
I would love
It
to
has
see
Isaac
one.
on the front with a plate that's completely full of peas, and it said something like, "You might not be able to get your kids to eat their peas, but you can get them to go to church." And I was like, "Oh yeah."
And it was when Isaac was a little boy.
Oh, I bet it's
really
so
little
cute.
boy.
Yeah.
But he
like
was on all the
5.
billboards, like out here at 24.
Adorable.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
Those billboards and going down. I mean, they were all over.
Yeah, because
So
he
we
would have
did
been like
billboards, and then
2,
Isaac,
2, 3.
he was like, I think he was 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet he was 3 or 4.
Oh my
Whenever
gosh.
we moved over here.
Who thought of that? That you can't get your kids to eat peas, but
So because we were planning from Life Church Bluffton, right? So they had all of that. They were a huge church, you know, when we first decided to plant. So they had all of that stuff. They had been, back then, the way they felt like to get people to come to church, they would send postcards all the time. Like over
Really?
in Bluffton, like every big service they would have. And again, it's not like this postcard.
No,
I mean,
it's a
it's
big
like
one.
this.
Really?
Like you're going to notice it, you know, and they sent it to every single mailbox in Wells County.
wow.
You know, and so when we did it and planted, we sent to every mailbox in Huntington County, which was quite a bit bigger, you know, because it's rural and it's, you know, a lot
Multiple
more
counties.
people going out
Well,
there.
cities.
Yeah. And so did you come with Matt or did you come by yourself?
No, we came together. But our marriage started to fall apart very shortly after that. Like, that was October.
Wow.
I would say November.
Wow.
Yeah, it was when things started to go downhill. And so
That's really amazing that right when you guys decided to go back to church, or like, you know, you had been church hopping and then you
yes.
found this one and then that happened.
let's point that out as a God sighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Wow.
remember because I met with her and Matt right in the beginning. You know, they were probably one of the first couples I met with because they're kind of at this place where like, what do we do? And, you know, at that time they were like, we're going to fight for our marriage and we're going to try to figure out how to get it done. And, you know, that's what I remember, you know, from that. And so we met and talked and you guys stayed together for.
We did probably another 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And it wasn't really good years, but, you know.
Right.
It still just kept coming and, you know, we had our ups and downs and then I was like, yep, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
This is not working. It was like, I don't want my kids to think that this is what a healthy marriage looks like. And I was not willing to do anything differently. Like I wasn't willing to change. I wasn't willing to go to counseling. I was completely over it and checked out.
Right. And so at that time, where are you at with your own faith? So again, back before you're like, went because I was a kid and I loved it, kind of walked away, made fun of people that went. Now you got your
Isn't that a
kids.
horrible thing to say?
And you're,
No,
I would
I
say
used to
that-
do it. Mike
I
would say
heard
that
you
he
laugh.
did
I
it
was
too.
like,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, everybody's had that moment. If you were one of those kids,
Oh, yeah.
everybody's had that moment of like the
that
goody
was
two shoes
Yeah,
group of
ugh,
people.
I never wanted to be like them.
Yeah. But anyway, so you get back, you get your kids back. But like, where's your own personal faith journey? Like, is it growing? Is it stagnant?
Yeah, I mean,
Is
I was trying. Like, I felt like just coming to church every Sunday. Listen, I did this thing for a while where I was like, I'm doing good if I go 3 out of 4 Sundays. I would
That is
give
good.
myself one Sunday off.
That is good.
Just pre-decide that I'm going to miss one. And then, I don't know, at some point I got convicted and I was like, that is stupid. Why did I do that?
So were there some pivotal moments? Like, because again, if you look at Courtnie now, you know, and where you're at in your life and where you're at in your faith and where you're at, you know, the things you would be like, you know, wow, she's pretty put together. Like, and
Oh, thanks for saying
no,
that.
really, like seriously, I think people would be like, wow,
Yeah.
she's really worked hard to go out and accomplish her goals and her dreams and has taken some big steps of faith, you know, in her life. And again, I personally watching would say really grown in your faith and your view of, you know, what God's doing and how he's working through your life.
A couple things that I would say were like pivotal moments. Also, I want to interject. Austin says the same thing. He'll refer to different periods of time and he'll go, that's back when you were still ghetto.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Back
You've
so
made that
ghetto.
joke before.
Yeah.
So rotten. Why do you do that? But one would be like deciding to participate in a small group. It was not something I was ever comfortable doing. Even though I wanted to be in youth group when I was a kid and just like didn't work out that way, being part of a small group was a game changer.
Who were you in a small group with?
I think that.
Remember?
Yeah, the very, very first one I ever went to.
Was it like-
Andrea was leading.
Oh, wow. Satan.
Yeah.
Oh, I never got to meet
I
her.
better not say that because it gets sued again.
Yeah. Oh, that's a thing?
That they sued Life Church?
Yeah, for something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I better
that
be
was the
careful
first one.
because, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I
that
could
was
see
the
your
first
eyes
one.
firing up. You want to go there?
No, I know. Yeah. The long
Oh
story.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Long
for
story.
another time.
Yes,
For
Join
another
us in
time.
part 2.
Right.
That would be a fun story to tell. I can talk about how I was in there.
I know, because that did something to you, because that was a
Actually,
pivotal
that is
moment.
how the story of me working here starts. So we have to go there sometime.
Yeah.
Well, you can go
Yeah,
there.
you
I
can-
just got to be
okay.
careful. Just don't say any names because we'll probably get sued again.
Okay.
So,
You just want to use the alias that you were
Satan.
using? Yeah.
That's
that
what I
one.
called her all the
Okay.
time. When it started going down, if people referred to the whole thing, I just called her Satan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was in a group with Liz Landis and then,
Oh, wow. That has been a while.
yes. And then I was in one of Lee's small groups. And that one was pivotal because it was when I was really trying to learn how to hear from God. Like, I don't know if that's something I just never learned or if I just like shushed it down so much, but
Right.
specifically, I was a single person at this time and we were going into Lent. And so we were trying to learn how to hear from God or hear God's voice and whatever. And also like, what are you going to do to participate in Lent? And so I was like, what am I going to give up for Lent?
I'm pretty sure I remember this.
I was like, chocolate, sugar. These are the things that are on the table, God. These are the things. And I landed on something that I decided. And then that was a Wednesday night. Sunday morning, we're still meeting upstairs, and you gave time for people to reflect on how they wanted to participate in Lent, what they wanted to give up. And then I clearly heard God telling me that I needed to give up having sex outside of marriage. Wow.
And you were
Pin
like,
drop.
no, I mean,
pin
no,
did
I'm just
drop.
saying. And for you, it's funny
Crickets.
because you're sitting here like, oh, I'm thinking about Lent, you know, chocolate and sweets. Let's get real. Something that'll cost you something.
Right.
Sex
I know.
outside of marriage.
Yeah.
And before that, I was like, no, that was for biblical times. That doesn't apply today. That's just
Yeah.
how I felt. It didn't matter what I heard other people say. That was not for me. That
Right.
was for them. If they
Right.
grew up that way and they decided that,
Right.
that just wasn't for me.
Right.
So I kind of heard that on Wednesday night, but I was like,
You kind of,
pushed
you
it off.
kind of hear from
Like, I
God.
was like,
Stop
sure.
having sex.
Are you sure you
Yeah.
did say chocolate?
I know. Sugar. I think I hear you saying
Yeah.
sugar.
Yeah. That word.
Oh,
But then when you gave us time upstairs to think, I was like, oh, gosh, okay.
yeah. Well, that is cool. I mean, again, because back to what we were saying earlier is like trying to figure out how to listen to God. Part of
Yes.
our problem is we can't hear because we only hear what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of just leaving it open in that time of
Yes.
reflection to say, listen, speak to me real. Like,
Yep.
don't go through the motions of, I'm giving up peanut butter. Or
Yeah,
I'm
something.
giving up.
Social media or all
Right.
those things I'm willing to offer up.
Yeah.
Right.
Take
right,
them all.
Right. So, I mean, as again, because so anybody that's followed your story, I don't know if it's from that point or not, but every time that you made a decision, this is at least what I've heard you say is that this is what I feel like God wants me to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is where I feel like it is. So this
Yes.
that was a pretty pivotal point.
It was. And at the end of that time, I met Joshua.
Yeah.
So I married him.
Yeah. So that means, so again, what our audience could learn is maybe for some of us are trying to figure out, like, how do you hear from the voice of God? Maybe it starts with listening to the first thing he said.
Yeah, and doing it.
You know what I mean? Because it might cost something
Yes.
significant, but from that point forward, you open yourself up to conversations that you wouldn't normally be having because you weren't willing to listen the first time. Because I think that's a cool part of your story.
I do too.
Because, you know, people grow in their faith, but taking faith steps, you know, because if you go through your whole, like, the cafe journey, right? So taking over and being a part of the manager of the cafe, moving on from the cafe to do something else, because essentially Courtnie was the resurrection. No, I mean, it's really true. So, I mean, we came to a point where we made a decision to start the Cafe of Hope, put our trust in a few people that we probably shouldn't have, led down a path that it wasn't very good. We had a significant amount of money invested. And at this point, 2 people that we had brought on with a plan to make this work. And it didn't last 6 months, 3 months, 2 months.
Yeah, maybe a couple.
It wasn't. And so at this point, we're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And so here's Courtnie, who, you know, was there making a decision to take over, let's just be fair, a failing business, a failing business venture, right? And so the cool thing about, like, people who see the cafe today, the fingerprints of how it ended up to where it is today were because Courtnie went through some rough seasons.
Yeah, there were some tough times.
Isn't that fair to say?
Yes.
Right? But I mean, that's a big faith step, right? Because it was like, you know what? You kept saying, like, I'm here. I feel like God's called me to be here. And it wasn't easy. You know, a lot of the decisions and the things and money and trying to build it from the ground up. And, you know, it wasn't your plan, you know, from the beginning, but God spoke and you're able to do that. And then when you came to the place of, like, hey, I'm going to move on. I mean, that was pretty significant because you had been here a long time.
I know, it was harder than staying, but there was just this tension that it wouldn't go away. I knew that it was time for me to go, but yeah, because
at that point, you were the face of the Cafe of Hope, right? Because, I mean, back then, it was like, if anybody talks about the cafe, they talk about Courtnie, right? Like, that's how they reflected back upon the cafe. And then as you, again, as I've heard, your journey in now making job decisions moving forward, it's been based around this idea of, like, I want to hear from God. What does he have to say? What does he want me to do? And you've made those decisions from there, right?
Yeah. I mean, even where I went after that, I had 2 different offers, and the one I took was not really the one I wanted. Like, I wanted to do the other thing, but I just knew with certainty that God was like, this isn't the one that's going to allow you to serve your family the best. And so that's where I went.
Yeah. So pivotal circumstance in the development of your faith, one being a small group. Was there anything else that helped develop, you know, to move you forward in your journey, like that people could learn from? Because if people are out there and they're saying, you know, I'm kind of stagnant, I'm kind of back, and I listen to the messages, but we've always said the messages only change so much, you know, and you're going to really have to do something other than the messages if you really want to grow. And so you're saying community, you know, it's been a big part of that, you know, and a big part of helping you grow. Was there anything else? Not that there has to be, but I just didn't know.
I mean, yeah, like relearning / deciding to, like, listen to God and what he was guiding me to do. Once I figured that out, yeah, it changes everything.
Right.
And I constantly run things through a filter of who my audience is, just him and not, like, anybody else.
Yeah. And again, that was something that developed over time.
Absolutely.
Right. Because, you know, if anybody's out there listening, they're like, I want to listen to God and I want to do, well, that takes time, you know, to be able to get to the point where you trust the voice. Because I think that's part of the problem. Yeah. Part of the problem people don't listen is because they're like,
was it really him?
Yes.
You know, is it somebody else? And
am I just thinking that?
But I've heard you say this, and I don't know if you want to reflect on it. Part of it is when you're in community and listening to God, it tends to bring those two things together because people can confirm, I heard that too. You know, not necessarily the way you heard it, but I heard it in the way that I see you. I heard it in the way that when I prayed, when you said pray to make a decision, I'm hearing some of the same things. So part of that confirmation, you know, is being able to be in community.
Yes. And the people that just become a part of your life, like, Yeah, I didn't realize what a community of people you have until you like distance yourself from it a little bit. Now that we're in Wabash, I'm like, gosh, who would I call if I needed help here? You know, I'd literally have to ask somebody like, come to Wabash to help me if I needed help, or, you know?
Yeah.
But
You guys didn't move to Wabash.
Yeah,
did you?
did.
Did you really?
Yes, in July. Yep.
Really? Where do you live?
Not too far from the Penguin Point on the south side of Wabash.
Really?
Penguin Point.
Okay. Yeah. I was just thinking because we have farms over there.
Oh,
so I was
do you?
trying to decide.
Oh, yeah. Because I've seen Emma out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Em and Brady live on the south side of Wabash.
Uh-huh.
You know, so they live right down from Southwood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Charlie goes to Southwood. We live 7 minutes from there.
Really?
Yes. And it's called the South Point Edition. So it's between Penguin Point and the Friends Church,
Okay.
right there on 13.
Friends Church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And has that been a good move other than community?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because I was just really needed to buy back some time, like in my day, like that commute. And yeah, so that's super nice. And I mean, to go back to like right now, like thanking God for, I don't know, just the way my life is right now. Like I get to drop Charlie off at school and I love that. I used to like not be resentful, but just like other people could do that and I wanted to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I love that I can do that. I love that the way we are set up right now as far as being that close and my working hours that I can drop her off and I'm right there all day long, right close, you know,
Yeah.
and then I can pick her up afterwards. And
Well, because you resented it because you couldn't because she was going to daycare, right? Not that
Well,
you couldn't, because wasn't that the problem?
like with the big kids, you remember I have 2 generations of kids.
Yeah.
So with my
right.
big kids,
You
Oh,
didn't
you
have a
never
chance to
did?
do it then.
yeah, it just didn't work out with the schedule that I was working and the time that I had to be places and when their school started. And, you know, like when they went to Northwest, it didn't start till like 9 o'clock.
Oh, I know.
You know, like
Weirdest thing
8:55.
I
ever.
loved that.
know.
That was
Did you
amazing.
go Northwest?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Just for like a couple grades, 3 grades maybe.
Huh.
When my grandma
Interesting.
moved over there, that's when I moved.
Well, there's only 4 there, but
What grades?
yeah, right?
No,
there's
5.
plus
Is there?
kindergarten.
Wait, 5 and then kindergarten, so
Yeah,
it's 6?
technically
That's
6.
really
Oh,
confusing.
sorry.
Well, 4 or 6. We both got it wrong. Oh.
Yeah. So again, because we only got 10 minutes left.
Whoa.
So if you could give your younger self advice,
Ooh, I love this question.
Do you?
Yes.
not that you have to. Again, I'm just like, again, what we're trying to do is that not that we regret decisions, but if I could have made a decision or would have like, or if you could recommend to somebody who gone through the journey and trying to figure out faith, would you give them some advice? Knowing your story
Based
and the
on
things
my
that you
story, I learn hard lessons. And I also have this thing where I can't realize something until I'm out of it. And that's
Okay.
really annoying. That's like a me flaw. And I don't know how you can. Sometimes I just can't realize something until I'm
Yeah.
not there anymore, you know? So I don't know, learn to take advice.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Because it was hard for you.
Yes. Also asking for help is something that I've
I was
learned
about-
that
I
I'm
didn't
not
want to
very
say
good
that.
at that. And it took me a while to realize that it's like a pride thing. I always thought it was like
Yeah.
I can handle it and I'm independent. This is who I am thing. But
Yeah.
I am starting to realize God's convicted me that it's a pride thing. And I
Right.
hate that. But
Right.
yeah.
Right. So listening to others, asking for advice,
And asking for help.
and asking for help.
If you need
That's
it.
a big
Like how
one,
many
too.
things did I screw up because I was afraid to be like, I have bit off more than I can chew.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And do you think that that is a problem with a lot of people?
I have no idea.
Because I think it with men, like I can see that with guys all the time. Like they're always out there
yeah.
feeling like, and no man wants to be like, I can't do it. I mean, that's a for sure. But I thought women were way better at like, nope, I
Not
can't do it.
this
Somebody
woman.
come
Not me either.
Really, Jenny, you're
No.
the same way?
Yeah, I don't like to ask for help.
Never?
I mean,
Have you always been that way?
yes. Yeah, I'm pretty independent when it comes to doing anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't like to ask for help and I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, and again, you shared though, like part of it all is not just the fact of like we're prideful to not ask for help, but the other part of it is that what are we robbing from the other person who could help us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've
Yeah.
always said that part of the problem is that when we don't ask, we also didn't get a chance for that person to fulfill what God's asked them to do because we chose to not let anybody in or chose to not let anybody help. And so trying to be like, you know what, I'm open to this. It's hard for me. But at the end of the day, when somebody does help you, God does something with them. You know, and being able to change those things. So, good. All right, Nick, questions.
We've got a couple questions. First one's from Robert Grover. How was Disney World? And tell Mike and Jenny, love you guys.
Wow.
Wait. Would you read that again? Doesn't say something?
Why?
Because I think it says something else. Okay, so apparently...
Tell Mike and Jenny, he, love you, buys, bye-bye.
Doesn't it say tell Mike, Jenny?
Sounds like Jenny.
Tell Mike, Jenny.
Yeah. So apparently I saved his name wrong in the phone. So on the Fall Family Fest, he was like, what's my name? And I'm like, crap. And so I started like naming off names. And then I actually said his real name as opposed to, I've been calling him Glover for the past like 3 times. Instead of Grover. Yeah. And he called me out on it and he feels much better now. Yeah. But he wanted me to tell you.
Yeah. that you said it the wrong name.
That I said, and I put it in the phone wrong because he was like, it hurt my feelings.
That you put in Glover?
That I was saying Glover.
Wouldn't it
be
Glover though?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then how was Disney World?
Oh, it was good. It was Disney.
You had an eventful Disney time, though.
There was
you
a
had
hurricane.
a hurricane Disney.
Yeah, we survived a hurricane. The whole thing was good. It was really stressful.
Is this something you've always wanted to do? Have you been there before?
People.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
just here to tell you.
Do what?
Stress changes people.
Well, that was a big event.
Yeah. I was finishing up my schoolwork at that time, and Joshua kept saying to me, "You have lost your sense of humor," and I couldn't see it until I was done with it, and then I was like, I feel light as a feather.
Oh my
I feel like I haven't laughed for like a year
because you've been so busy and focused.
I was so stressed out.
Yeah.
And all my free time had to go to that, and it wears on you, man. It changes you.
And so now you go to Disney, and the kid comes out. The kid in you?
No, I was still in the middle of it. I was in the middle of my last class, and it was a killer, and there was a hurricane. But I mean, you know, Rayanne was down there, so I felt like we were in it together. We saw each other randomly at Disney, which was really cool.
Yeah. Which is super weird.
I know. And you guys
out of all the
didn't
people
know.
that you can see at Disney out in the world, we
know.
never see
One
her.
day outside of church, I was like, hey, guess what? I'm going to Florida. And she was like, oh, guess what? I'm going too. And I thought she was going to say, you know, people would be like, yeah, put me in your suitcase. I'm going with you.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting.
Oh, you didn't really think she was being serious?
I'm really going to Florida. And she's like, yeah, I really am too. I was like, really?
That's
going to Disney. And she's like, so am I. I was like, really? What park? Magic Kingdom? She's like, yeah. And it ended up being the same day. And we didn't plan it that way.
That's
so did you have
wild.
anything that was like the best? Like, what was the best part of Disney World?
Disney World? I mean, let's talk about the whole trip.
Okay.
Okay. The best part was the beach.
The beach?
One day we did beach day. And
You drove
There's a beach in Disney?
No.
Oh,
You drove to the
we
beach?
drove to Cocoa Beach.
So you didn't stay in the whole, like...
No, we just did one day. We went to one park, and it was great. It was mostly because I want my daughter to have that experience.
Yeah.
I don't think it was her favorite thing of the whole time we were there, and that's
Really?
fine. Yeah,
Wow.
she really liked Peppa Pig Land.
Where's Peppa Pig Land at?
Oh, it's like an hour away in Winter Haven. And yeah, Joshua really enjoyed Peppa Pig Land.
But you guys went to Cocoa
gosh.
Beach.
Yeah, Cocoa Beach was awesome.
Yeah. Did they like the beach? Had you been to the beach?
I have, but I don't think Allie had ever been to the beach. So
Okay.
that was a first for her. I don't think she had ever flown on a plane. So
Yeah.
that was a first for her. She had never been to Disney. Her and Austin did not really enjoy it. They lasted about 2 hours, and then they Ubered back to our Airbnb.
I feel them.
Right. Yeah.
It's a
And
lot.
the beach is overrated.
No, it's awesome.
No.
The beach is terrible.
No,
Why
I
don't
would
you
rather
like
be
the
at the beach.
Huh?
Why don't you like the beach?
Okay. Here's why. So if you look at the ocean, it looks like the most refreshing, beautiful thing.
Oh, it's rough.
Then you dive in and you're like, I feel like a big block of salt. Right? And I just
That
sucked
is
in
true.
salt water. I'm ready to get sick. Then when you're done, there is sand in every orifice that
Literally.
you
Every
have
crevice.
ever
So
had.
much.
And them orifices are full
Yep.
of sand.
That's true.
And
That
it
is-
is
yep.
annoying
It really
to
is.
try to get it out, you know, because then
Yes.
you're sunburnt
Yes.
And you're trying to scrub.
And it's like exfoliating it.
It's
That's
just
the
like,
worst.
and you're trying to get it out of every.
Hey, we found a clam in the water.
You did?
Yeah, and it stuck its little foot out. Did you know they have a foot?
No.
Yeah, it's like stuck its little, it started to open and I was like, oh, we dropped it. We're like, look, it's opening.
I wonder if that was abnormal because they knew the hurricane was coming. They were trying to run away. They were trying to make it to the
Google it. What was that?
I know.
Listen,
They needed
another scientific fact from Jenny.
Right, that is why.
The way, listen, you want to know?
It makes sense.
You want to know if a storm's coming? Look at a clam. Like if
Their
you can
little
see the
legs will
clam's
be out.
legs sticking out, run for cover.
It is trying
There's a
to go
hurricane
to
It's
coming.
a leg or an arm or something.
I mean, it was trying to get
I
home.
don't know.
So the Airbnb you're in made it through the hurricane thing okay?
Yeah, no damage at all.
Okay.
Yep.
So like were you right there and watching it all?
Well, it was dramatic because it's a hurricane and everybody in Indiana was like, my parents were freaking out. And
Yeah.
like, are you okay? What are you doing? And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we're fine. It's not even raining yet. And so I was just kind of not that worried about it until we got done with Disney on Tuesday. And then I was like, okay, I guess it's time to do a little preparing. I suppose we should go get some groceries. Like we do in Indiana, you go get milk and eggs and bread. And we went to the grocery store.
That's a great idea.
And the grocery store was closed.
So you went to the next best thing.
Yeah, right next door there was a liquor store. It was open. It was open and very busy.
Oh, I bet it was.
If you can't eat yourself to death, drink yourself to death. Right?
Sorry,
I
Charlie.
was like, I'm just gonna run in here. I have some questions. Like, what is open? Because
Yeah.
they weren't selling gas. All the gas stations ran out of gas.
Did they
Ran
really?
out.
Ran out. Yes. Somebody was like, oh no, they're just closing for safety reasons. And I was like, no, they're out. I asked. They're shutting the pumps off because they're out of gas.
Oh my gosh.
You never see a storm here where we run the gas
No.
stations out of gas.
Why
Hey,
would they need the
Get
gas?
ready for the end. That's why you should have gas barrels at your house.
Oh,
it's
gosh.
coming.
That was
It's
when
coming.
the panic started. When the grocery store was closed
And the gas
and
pump
they were
was
out of gas
Yeah.
and we had like a quarter of a tank. I was like, oh my,
Could you
we're
imagine
here
being
for it.
stuck?
Yeah.
There's no way out
Right,
now.
right.
We're here for it.
Right. But you made it
Wow.
through.
Yes, it was
No
fine.
damage.
Yeah, no damage to anybody. So
Good. All
everything
right,
was
next
fine.
question.
Next question is from Emily Krieger. What has been your absolute favorite family vacation and why?
Dun, dun, done.
Probably like ever or like as
Like
an adult.
Yeah, ever.
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 One
One
of the
time when I
hurricane
was a
one.
kid, we drove down to Key West. We drove through the Keys on Highway 1.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you really? That's a drive.
It is a drive, and it's so scary. It's so much water
Yeah.
over here, water over there, and you're really high up. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I always thought that Key West is like famous places are going to be really high tech, but it's really like
Yes, laid back.
beachy and laid back. Yeah.
Really?
Not what I was expecting.
What do you mean water there and water there?
Like you're
There's
on a
one
bridge
road.
and all it is a road.
Oh.
And there's like hundreds of feet and then water, and that's
Yeah.
all you can see.
Because the
Okay,
keys are
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm going to say this wrong, but they're like islands.
They are.
Yeah.
And they're connected by one road.
By one
There's only
highway.
one
Highway runs
Yeah.
all the way through them, all the way to the last
Is
one.
it a 2-lane where you're going like,
Yeah, there's like
Or is
two
it-
going this way and then
oh,
over
two
there's
and
two
two?
going that way. Or
Is there a median, like a divider?
an ocean divider?
Oh, that's so scary. That's
Yeah,
one
you
of
would
my
not want to
worst
fall asleep.
fears.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get the heebie-jeebies every time I go over water like that.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to die that way.
So drive to Key West. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a good one.
Doug Bragg wants to know, how do you recharge yourself after working in HR and dealing with people and their needs all day, and then more importantly, being a wife and mom on top of that?
That's a good
Wow,
question.
That's a great
That's
question.
like a layered question.
That is.
How do you recharge?
Yeah, we better
Making
shorten it.
quinoa.
Yeah.
I mean, doing things that I'm interested in that don't have anything to do with like work.
Yeah.
You know, I luckily have a job where I don't really have to deal with the HR side of like handling people and conflict and people problems.
Okay.
That's just not my role, which I love.
Yeah.
So I can shut off on the weekends and take the whole weekend to myself. And I love to get into movies and shows, and like those are guilty pleasures for me
Yeah.
because I feel a little bit convicted sometimes that it's like, this isn't growing me in any way and I'm not learning anything. So that is an escape for me. I
for
enjoy
sure.
it even though it's crime and even though it's terrible.
So good.
It's a good recharge.
It is.
Yeah.
It just like takes you out. It's not fantasy. It's real, but it still unplugs you enough from your own life.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah.
And I think people need to realize that just because it's something that's a guilty pleasure doesn't mean it's bad. Like
Right.
everybody needs to recharge.
You got to have that time.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Last one, and it's a comment. Hi, Courtney. This is from Brenda Williams. When I was working out of the cafe for a while, you made me feel so welcome. Your smile is contagious and it radiates your beauty. I look forward to seeing you every time I walk through the doors. I saw Jesus through you.
Oh, that's a
Hey,
good
for
question.
Courtney.
That's a good statement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Brenda's
I'm going
sweet.
to have to hug her on Sunday.
Yeah. She was
Okay,
working
Jenny,
here for forever.
finish up. Tell people what the number is
Yes.
and how they can get on the text thing, and then we'll have
Yes.
Courtney back because we got to
I just
She has
have
a-
a lot more to say.
Yeah,
just-
no, I know.
we'll
That's
have
what I
to get her
said. She'll
back.
be the return guest.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have many of them.
Yeah.
All right. You're going to text 260-408-8383, and you're going to text podcast. That gets you on our page. Or not, it's not a page. It's a texting group. That's what I meant. It gets on our texting group, and then we send out questions we don't, but we tell you who. I'm really not
It's
good
okay.
with my words
No,
right
you're
now,
fine.
but I'm going to
You're
keep
fine.
going because
Yeah,
that's
you're
what I
good.
do.
Yes.
And so we put you in our group, and then we text who's going to be the guest of the week, and then we want you to ask us questions to ask them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything else, like you can, if you want to be a guest, if you know somebody that wants to be a guest, statements,
We got
questions.
some openings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we're
coming up
going
next
into
year.
April.
Right now?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why don't you have a teleprompter putting all that up there so you can just read it?
That's a good idea.
Neither Jenny and I are teleprompter kind of people.
But
We
for
just
some
kinda
things,
shoot for the hip.
scripted things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
like
need-
something I say every week.
Yeah. Exactly.
I would love to see Jenny read off a teleprompter.
I do every time I do the welcome
Do
video.
you really?
Yes.
I can show you the bloopers.
I'm really
I thought it was the Jenny that I know, just
What?
this like off the hip. Hey, everybody, welcome to Life Church.
You really
Great
thought so?
Yeah.
See, that means I'm that good at it because you didn't even know I was reading
No,
them.
I really didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never thought you were to read off a teleprompter.
Absolutely.
If you go back, here's the funny thing. If you go back and watch videos of Life Church when I do them,
Yeah.
you can for sure tell when I'm reading from a teleprompter. It's like,
Are you really?
oh, it's terrible.
Is it like, do you slow down when you say it?
I have no idea. It's awful. I'm just
I like
you
it.
can for sure tell that I'm reading a script.
Well,
Yeah, because I'm not much of a script kind of guy.
that's good.
Hey, second favorite vacation was the one you went with us.
I was about to say.
when we went to
Yeah.
Kalahari.
Mhm.
It was all my kids went and
Yep.
Jenny went, and they didn't kill each other. We were all under the same roof for Christmas, and it was delightful.
It was very
Wow.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had a snowstorm on the way back, and it took us
yes.
forever to get back from Ohio.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't forget, again, so if you're out there and you see Courtney, make sure you
Yes.
come up and say hi and get to know her because she's, again, a great
Introduce
young,
yourself. I love to meet people. I want to meet all the people.
She comes to second service,
I do.
I think, on
Yep.
a regular basis.
Yep.
Her and Jenny
Yep.
in the back.
Yes.
Yep.
Back
Yeah.
left. That's our section.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the section back there. You might run into a dog, but
Listen, I
fine.
stopped that once you told me it's distracting. You hurt my feelings. You made me think. I really didn't think that I was distracting people.
listen.
You made me feel bad.
Make sure that you say hi to Courtney. Make sure that you get to know her. She's a great young lady and a great, has a great story and the things
Mm-hmm.
that God's doing in her life. So get to know her. Again, if you're watching and or listening, don't forget to share.
Yep.
So if you're out there and you're listening to this podcast, don't forget to share.
And subscribe. Is that a thing?
I don't
Yes,
is
it
a
should
thing?
be. We should start adding
Hit that
that.
subscribe button.
Yes, hit the subscribe button down there,
Down there.
Down
It's
there.
probably down there.
It's
Okay.
somewhere.
Hit
we
the
can,
subscribe.
We can put it right there.
Like, share, comment. We'd love for you guys to be able to get this podcast out to more people. And again, more opportunities for people to get to know Courtney and all of our other guests that have been on, get to know their story, understand life, and just see how God is working. Because again, once you get the whole view or perspective of Courtney's story, it's really cool how God has worked through lots of different circumstances and how she has just shown the beauty of Christ through her life and the things that she's doing. So Courtney, thanks for being with us. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Next week.